Hello, I'm MC Toon, the second worst rapper in the world, something like that. Could be wrong. We've had rappers on lately, and apparently they're terrible. So, how you doing today? I voted Kanye West all the way, definitely. I wrote him in. I mean, he wasn't on the ballot, but I wrote him in everywhere. He's going to be the new judge. He's going to be the new dog catcher, I think is in. Is up for a re-election. So anyway, hoping for Kanye, right? So the agreed upon debate tonight was Simon Perry, or the People's Poet 6, or Big Psy, or he has a handful of different names. He's camping. He has been unresponsive for a few days on Twitter and Facebook, and then just today he sent me a message he's camping. I'm like, couldn't you have said that days ago? He said he brought he spent 20 pounds on a battery pack, and it didn't work, so super. Anyway, so there's that. I have a second plan here. It's going to be, I'm going to review a video that Simon constantly posts everywhere on Facebook. So that will be pretty good, I think. So, so next week, let me first talk about tonight. Later tonight, Dion Smo, who got a thorough beating last week and then declared victory, is also not showing. So I'm going to have a different thing going on there. Maybe get a couple guests on, maybe review some videos. Still planning that. Got a couple hours in between to get that going. That should be at 8 o'clock tonight. I asked him if he could go an hour later. He's not responded to that. So he says he had to work. I'm like, you could have said something. But no, he didn't. So anyway, now next week, I have Hip Hop Hippie. Now, Transvalmadorian is saying he's an anti-Semite and Holocaust denier. Please don't platform him. I know that. And he knows he doesn't go there on my channel. The problem is, just about every flurf is one of those. We can't even have a conversation with them, right? So I don't think that not communicating with them is or not confronting them is the way to go. I think we need to confront them. I don't do those topics on this channel. Not that I wouldn't, but they're valid topics to address, and to address, attack, because they're horrible. But he's not to bring them up. He knows that, and so yeah. Anyway, so that he said, how about myself and PhD Tony? So yes, PhD Tony is in. That's 8 o'clock next week, and Hip Hop Hippie. Now maybe I'm going to see if we can make it happen. Ilya Moon will be moderating, so we'll see if that works. If we can get that to happen. So with that, is that all I have other than go Kanye right there? I got the kitty. See the kitty here? She's working. She worked hard last night, patrolling the house for I don't know what for, but and then sitting in the window meowing at birds all day. So super tired, I'm sure. So all right. Yeah, Punchy, that is the spot you sat in. So, all right, here's what we will be doing. I have the video prepped up here. It is from Hibbeler Productions. Now, if you know anything from Hibbeler Productions, you know that he hates science. Anything scientific or factual, he has no clue about. He has some flat Earth videos. No surprise. Can't figure out 5G or flat Earth. But he has, and I forgot Hibbeler's real name. If anybody knows his real name, send it, like his first name. It's known. He's been on shows and stuff. Like he'll show a video of people standing on the shore, and then of a far away, like Seattle or something, and say that should be behind water. Doesn't say how far they are. It doesn't give their latitude, longitude. It doesn't give the elevation. Of course, they never use the right math. So Hibbeler and math and Hibbeler and science, they've not yet met, ever. They probably never will. But we're going to review what Hibbeler has to say about 5G, because some of it is quite horrible and stupid and wrong. That's what we do, isn't it? So here we go. Now, I forgot to say, I have sent a link to Simon. He's not responded yet, so I got it up right here. So we'll see. We'll see. All right, let's transition. Here is his super fancy logo, which doesn't make it any more correct. Let's see. Oh, no audio. Let me get the audio going a little bit. It's a little too loud in my ear and none in yours, so I'll get that. Hopefully this is entertaining enough and informative enough. I will pull up citations throughout, because I have a lot of these already cited. So let's see. There you go. You can hear it now.
Is a cell tower going up in your neighborhood? If it's not now, it may soon. Wireless carriers are installing millions of them across the country to enable the new, faster 5G cell phone technology.
That's good news.
But tonight, Julie Watts asked the question you're not supposed to ask. Are there legitimate health concerns?
A group of scientists, doctors, environmental organizers, and concerned citizens got together and they called for the urgent stop to the deployment of 5G. They said that it's been proven harmful to humans.
Proven harmful. 5G has been proven harmful, they say. Now, I'm sure they'll cite things. And I looked in the description for this video. No citations listed there. This news report, I didn't look it up, but I'm sure there's actually no citations. They never have citations, but proven harmful for 5G. The thing about 5G that apparently they don't understand is it's the same as 4G. It's actually not anything different. It's a different protocol, an update to the existing stuff, but it's not actually a new stuff, really. There's different potential frequencies, but that's about it. The actual specification for 5G is publicly available on the website for 3GPP.org, I think. It's part of the International Teleconference Union. All publicly available. So feel free to look that up and find what's different about 5G that's not in the previous generations. So, and then look for the citation that has been proven harmful, which of course it has not. What can be asserted without evidence can be dismissed without evidence.
Human bodies, that this is an experiment on humanity, and that this should be called a crime under international law.
You get that a lot, this crime under international law, but of course it is the same as other technologies. The protocol allows a wider frequency range. But anyway, so here we see the first bit of really inaccurate information. 4G/LTE, they're saying, is 4 to 6 gigahertz. And that's wrong. It can use those ranges, but generally does not. So what I will do is I will pull up it. It'll come to no surprise to you probably that I have it on my website. But I will pull up the actual. You can Google it yourself. You just type, United States cell phone frequency allocation. So I will pull up the U.S. one right here. And let's see, right.
If 4G is already doing some of...
You don't want to hear that. All right, here we go. So this is, now this is not from the FCC. The FCC manages this in the United States. But you can cross-reference this to the FCC and see right here, these are the actual frequencies that have been allocated to different things, different companies and stuff like that. So frequency range 1, uplink and downlink are different frequencies. You got 1920 megahertz, that's 1.9 gigahertz. But that's not 4G or anything. But you can see here 2500 to 2570, 2300, 2600, right? 37 right here. We got 37. We're just getting into this this claimed 4 gigahertz. Not quite though. We're still under that. And now there we go. We got a little bit at 4200. There you go, 4,000 to 5,000, 4,400 to 5,000, right? Just a little bit in that band, but not much. So what I'm going to do, I'll pop that into the live chat for you, and you guys can look at that. If you're watching later, check the live chat for that link. You can look at it yourself. Now that includes the 4G. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there that I'm kind of glossing over to go a little quickly on it. But there's the actual specifications. Pretty much 4 gigahertz and less is 4G. There's some that's a little higher, as you see here, 4,200 and 40 up to 5,000 for different stuff here. Now, there is a frequency range too. Now, these are higher frequencies for 5G. So let's see just a second here. But actually, 5G is mostly in the lower range too. So we'll go back to the video and see the next incorrect claim. So first, this claim is wrong. It's actually about 600 megahertz to 5 gigahertz is the correct range. So, is Flunchy available, MC2? I heard he has been saying you don't know what you're talking about. If Flunchy is available, he could maybe come on, try to talk 5G, or maybe later he could fill in for Dion, who got scared off after last week. I definitely want to review Dion Smo's claim that he won. That was pretty funny. So, all right, let's next part here.
How much more potentially dangerous will 5G be?
And there we go. 5G, 200 to 300 gigahertz. Now, we'll go back to this frequency band allocation here in the U.S. It's just the U.S. UK and Australia, Canada, they all have the same stuff published. You can look it up for whatever country you're interested in. We go here to frequency range 2, and you can see 26.5 gigahertz to 29.5, 24 to 27, right? The highest is 40 gigahertz. 40 gigahertz. Now, there's some problems with 40 gigahertz. It doesn't propagate very far. And it doesn't go through things very well, but you could use it, right? It's a trade-off. So here we go. They're saying 200 to 300, and it's wrong. I've not seen anything at all saying we're planning our 5G in the 200 to 300 gigahertz range. The highest I've seen is like talk of something in the 70s, but even that is just like talk. So anyway, so there's that one. Let's see, high 5G frequency bands. Now they talk about different geographical areas as other considerations, right? So anyway, these are, if you see, again, 300 or so 3,000, 4,500, 4,900, right? Some of these higher ones, but these are specifically like newer ones that are just getting rolled out. And then we've got, again, the very high frequency bands that are 43.5 in China. So when people say 60 gigahertz in China, no, it wasn't. Now, you will see people say, well, you trust the government. Like, okay, where did you see anything saying 60 gigahertz? Was there somebody that had a spectrum analyzer that found 60 gigahertz? No. Did some cell phone company publish that they were going to use 60 gigahertz? No. Is there a handset, right? It's no good to you at all if your phone doesn't work on 60 gigahertz. What are you going to do? Who's going to use it? No phones use 60 gigahertz, so you're kind of screwed there. You don't really get a whole lot of use. Anyway, the band 600, 700, 800, right? They're considered traditional coverage applications. Here's the thing. In Canada, their initial 5G rollout was 600 megahertz. So, very wrong for that.
And why?
Well, here's what's really dangerous about 5G. I mean, it's being sold to us as super awesome, but the downside is that with this rollout, it will be impossible to exist in a city or to walk outside without being exposed. There's going to be a cell tower.
Well, that's already the case, so no change there.
In front of every few houses, and this means that your personal choices, whether or not you personally use a cell phone or hold it 10 inches away from your head, that cannot escape you from your radiation exposure.
That cannot escape you from your radiation exposure. The truth is, your phone that you're holding has significantly higher RF power to your body than a cell tower, unless you're really close to that cell tower. This is the thing that's sending the most to you in the majority of cases, not the cell tower, because you're far away from the cell tower, and the signal dissipates as it gets farther away. So good luck with that. Do a little math on that. It's possible to calculate, and unlike flat earthers, you're not going to go and say RF is this, but we're not going to use science. Wait a second. It's all about science, so sorry, you don't get to do that. Yes, and Mohammed Shafiq, 60 gigahertz is an unlicensed frequency that has been used for years, way before 5G was even a thing. So yes, 802.11ay, I believe, and a couple other 802.11, which is usually the Wi-Fi frequency ranges, uses it. Like controllers, handheld controllers do it, things like that. Cars use it for distance signaling, so that it knows how far you are from the car in front of you, behind you, so it can brake and not hit somebody. And they have used it for 20, maybe 15 years for actual point-to-point communication using a dish, right, a directional dish, in the UK and all over the place. So it's not new, and it's not been shown to be any problem. But and there's only one 5G I've ever seen that's talking about 60 gigahertz, and that's just for point-to-point, again, on dishes. Not really much of a problem there, is it? Right? If you're on a dish to a dish, and you're not in that line, it's not giving you hardly any power. So, all right, here we go.
And the fact is, the government is completely not jumping on the ball. I mean, because of the Telecommunications Act of 1996, which says that no state or local government can regulate the placement of any cell towers, regardless of environmental effects. Right. That has really laid the groundwork for this toxic infrastructure.
So, yeah, toxic infrastructure you've not yet established, but the FCC manages that. So, yeah, so if you don't like how that was brought to a federal level and removed from the hands of the states, you have a case, right? But saying down with 5G isn't the way to do that. That's a states' rights issue, maybe, that you should address at your local level to make sure that your state is doing what you think your state should do in the federal scheme of things. I don't know. Whatever. That's a political issue, not a technology issue, really.
Infrastructure.
So they go through this list of things that are effects and things like that, but I have yet to find an actual study that says this causes this. They typically say, hey, there's some issues that we're concerned about, further study is recommended.
Kelly Prime's son Kyle was just 10 years old when he was diagnosed with kidney cancer.
My wife just handed me a check from the stimulus check. Super. I had to file late. So anyway, kidney cancer. I got to back it up here a little bit. Here we go. Oh, yeah.
And Kyle was just 10 years old when he was diagnosed with kidney cancer in 2016. 5 months later, Kyle's friend and classmate, Mason Ferrulli, developed brain cancer.
14 hours to get the tumor out, and he had 5 weeks of inpatient rehabilitation. He had to learn.
So what are they building up to here? They're talking about two different people with cancer, two different kids with cancer.
Learn to walk, talk, eat, everything all over again.
2 more kids at the school were diagnosed this year.
At what point are you saying, we ought to take a close look at the school here?
The moment that I found out that Mason had been diagnosed.
Whenever you hear
Yeah. They're leading you down a little path here.
cases of cancer in a child, obviously that itself is alarming. When there's several cases in one school, that's even more alarming.
Do you believe the oncologists who say cell towers can't cause cancer?
I believe that everybody wants to believe our government.
She didn't answer the question, did she? She wants to be an expert over the experts. With no background. Interesting.
I've looked into his eyes, and I've looked at the fear that he has as a 9-year-old facing something, asking me, Mom, am I going to die? It would push you to fight as well. It would push any parent to fight.
All right, so they're playing a little dirty here. They haven't cited any evidence yet. They've just drawn a couple vague lines. And this is very deceptive, and I hate this. I think these people are pretty disgusting for doing this. An oncologist who is an expert in cancer and what causes cancer says that it's not from that. She doesn't answer the question. She has a valid concern about the health of her child. But what's the cause of it?
I won't stop until it's done, until that thing is gone.
5G is...
Oh, David Icke. Let me get it. Can't stand him. He's a piece of crap. So they do this this thing off to David Icke. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the actual cause of the problem. It was not, in fact, the radio frequency tower, the RF tower there. And it was in 2019, which is before 5G was in use much, probably wasn't actually installed at all. Probably 4G, but don't know. We could look that up maybe. But anyway, so school cancer concerns routed from RF to PR blunder, then carcinogens in water and vapor. So they had this concern. A bunch of kids in a short amount of time got cancer. And then these disgusting people went and seeded these parents' brains with it's RF, that it's that. But you know what they found? They found it was trichloroethylene from a nearby Nestle plant that they used to decaffeinate things, to decaffeinate coffee in the Ripon plant. That's gross, people. Using this, and Mark Steele uses this same article today. He used it just last week to talk about that, and he used bigger numbers, right? I think the actual number is 5, and he says 8 kids got cancer. So there is a well that had been unused and then used again, and it had the levels of trichloroethylene were really high. Higher than, at the time the levels were lower than the allowed, and in 2016, but not the FCC, the FDA, whoever regulates that, had brought down the actual numbers. So the 2016 numbers were above the newer limits. So raise the volume of the video, but not your own voice. Okay, I will do that. So anyway, this is pretty gross. I'm quite disgusted by that. And so the thing is, what they do is they draw these correlations. They're like, the correlation makes it, causation, apparently. So that's not how it works, actually. So that's just a lie. Because if this caused, right, if correlation caused it, then the complete lack of movies by John Wayne causes cancer, because cancer's up since he died. So yeah. Oh my goodness. Mark Steele and Kate Shamarama Ding Ding Dog claim suicides amongst students at a Bristol University was caused by 5G. Of course, with no evidence. That is their absolute method of lies. They make up stuff, and people don't know enough to refute them, I guess. So you could just look it up, but no, don't do that. Anyway, so there's the actual report. I'll put that in the there's others. You can look up the others, but it was Ripon, and you just look up trichloroethylene, or look at the link there, or Ripon school. So Sprint took the tower down. The testing that they all did was way below levels, so there's no reason to think that anything about RF caused it, because they were lower than the, they're very low levels, right? I think they said like 1/10 of the allowed levels, or less than that, which you'd get in your home and driving to school and driving to work and at the mall and all over the place. You're going to have similar levels. Anywhere that there's people, there's going to be cell phone towers. So that correlation didn't quite work. It was water. Water caused it. So, all right, let's see. I got to go to this dumb guy. All right. I hate David Icke. He's a piece of crap.
It's a weapon. It's used by the military.
So he said 5G is a weapon. It's used by the military. So no, it's not. Actually, 5G is a protocol. It is not a frequency. It is a protocol. And here he's about to talk about an actual, not weapon, crowd control device. That's not, I mean, you can call it a weapon, but it's not a weapon like a gun is a weapon. So,
do you know these 5G millimeter wave technology?
That's not 5G. He's lying.
Are used to scatter crowds. You know, they drive up in this technology when they want to scatter a cloud, and they put out these frequencies, and people scatter because they get the feeling their skin is on fire.
That's absolutely true. The couple things that he's completely missing there, and he's intentionally lying to you about, because that's what David Icke does. He lies. He's a professional liar, and he's been a professional liar for about 30 years. That particular device runs at about 95 or 96 gigahertz, not one of the frequencies that is planned to be used in anything that I've seen for 5G. And it runs at 100,000 watts. That's right, 100,000 watts. And it's pretty close to it. And it's a focused beam. As you can see, I'll put it up on the screen here. You can see the beam is focused, narrow focus, where a cell tower has about 90 to 120 degrees of focus typically, and runs at somewhere 30 to 50 watts. So 100,000 watts compared to 30 or 50 watts. Now there are some cell towers that run higher, especially out in the rural areas, up to 300 or 500 watts. Still nowhere near. And they're up on big tall towers. So not a comparison in the least. Not at all. It's an absolute lie to bring up that kind of a comparison. But they do it because David Icke makes money on people by lying to them. So, yeah, lots of power will do that.
Because the human body, including the skin, is an antenna.
It's kind of true.
It interacts with frequencies, and it receives and transmits information.
So, Benjamin Franklin did this with a kite and a key in a storm, you know. Static electricity. They like to test voltage. They don't quite understand it, but that's fine. David Icke does live in a gated community. He lives on an island. I think he's one of the Guernsey Islands. Yeah, he has, I don't know what his net worth is, in the millions of pounds, I believe. But yeah. All right, so here, this is interesting. They have on this one, this meter is actually reading both volts per meter and watts per meter squared, and that's important. They like to do volts per meter, but volts per meter only is regulated up to 300 megahertz because higher frequencies don't really induce voltage. And so then he has this microwatt per square meter. Now I want to tell you, the ICNIRP guidelines is more conservative than the U.S. from the FCC, but I'll give you the ICNIRP, which is I forgot. Doesn't matter. It's what regulates the UK, not the UK, EU. Got to get the right letters in the right order. Oh, I gotta sort my thing by, there we go, FCC and ICNIRP. Okay, so the limit, the safe limit is there it is. It's in watts per meter squared. So general public, 20 watts per meter squared is the limit. Somebody asking to debate me? Gary Isle of Wight lives on the same island as Goofball there. Wow, David Icke. Yes, so here's another reason why I don't like David Icke. He's the Messiah. He's the Son of God. He said the world was going to end in the late 90s. That didn't turn out too well for him there. So anyway, all right, back to this here. So the legal limit is 20 watts per meter squared. Okay, now this meter goes up to 100,000 microwatts per meter squared, which is 100 milliwatts per meter squared, which is way, way less than the allowed limits. Now, if you think that's too low, find the science definitely saying this is what it should be, right? So, all right.
These are extremely dangerous readings.
Okay. 2.5 milliwatts per square meter are not extremely dangerous. So there's the thing. People that have no clue at all watch this and they're like, oh no, it's super high. It's terribly dangerous. It's not. We've been doing that for years, right? And not a whole lot of stuff. Maybe there's stuff, but find the science. Don't just say it's super dangerous.
Of radio frequency radiation going through my body.
There are going to be boxes broadcasting 5G. This weapon...
Not a weapon, you douche.
Down every street, all over the world. You're talking phenomenal numbers of these boxes.
Now, people like this typically have no idea about power. So these lots of boxes absolutely are all significantly lower power than the other ones that are already out there. And so the net power to people's exposure is still regulated by the same rules. The combined of everything together must be below a certain amount. If you think that amount is too high, find the science that agrees with it. If it's just your opinion, people, I don't care. And then they do this. So they had that last one. It was these cactuses. Now I visited Arizona, I don't know, 8 years ago, and they had these palm trees that they weren't palm trees, they were fake palm trees with cell towers in them. And I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. It's not as much of an eyesore, because in Minnesota we don't have any of those. It's all just towers, but they tend to be on water towers and on the sides of buildings and things like that. So they're not a lot of just independent towers. But I think this is a great idea. They're not trying to hide it, right? Then nobody's fooled by that. That's not actually a cactus. Nobody says, hey, that's a cactus. They say, when you just drive by, you don't notice it. But when you look at it, you're like, oh, that's clearly not a cactus. This is probably one of those new cell towers. So, whatever. And then this one, if you just look into it, people, again, that's one of the ones like in Arizona that's got the fake things on it. He's wearing a suit because birds live there and they poop on it, so he's cleaning it. Can't I call who to debate? David Akey? He would never answer. But yeah, I'd love to have a chance to destroy that turd. So so anyway, yeah, so this is a cleaning operation. This isn't a cell tower technician. This is a guy cleaning it. And so yeah, they're using cleaning chemicals. Maybe it's hot, maybe it's got stuff in it you don't want touching your skin. Maybe there's bird poop and you don't want that touching your skin. I don't know. But that's not a suit to protect them from RF, because they would turn off the tower typically when they do that. So again, I don't know why you'd even put that in like it's a thing. Move it on. Come on. Camouflaging it is...
An AT&T 5G capable cell tower across the street from an elementary school and right outside John Ireland's third floor condo in Sherman Oaks.
Now, I gotta say, I wouldn't want to have that sitting outside my window right close to it. But of course, that's not far from an electrical pole, which is also an eyesore, just that they're used to that one. I've been in Chicago, and if you've been in Chicago and been on the trains, you could probably reach out, and if somebody was reaching out of their window, you could give a high five while you go by their house. So yeah, it's going to degrade your property value a little, but sorry. But what is it? Is this about safety, or is this about aesthetics? It's not aesthetic. Got it. Let's see, most of Mr. Bozo had, he's spraying it with the same chemtrail concoction. Kate Shimalama Ding Dong Leatherface would agree. Absolutely. So, all right.
It sits right outside our dining room window. In fact, I can see it from the couch, too.
A couch John and his neighbors gathered around one afternoon as they discussed ways to get rid of the tower.
There was no advance notice whatsoever. We saw them digging, and the next thing we know, there was this giant thing on the lamppost.
John's wife is a two-time...
Why would you think that they would have to ask your permission? They ask the city's permission, and the city issues permits. Typically how it works. Different cities might be different, but looks like you live in a city. So they don't knock on your door before they do it. So they ask the city. The city says, yes, you have a problem. Bring it to your city council.
Cancer survivor.
And they put this monster out there.
Monster.
Right next to where I sit at a dining room table. Right next to the chair where I watch television.
Now that you've seen these cell towers, you'll see them all over your neighborhood. I've been working on this story for about 2 months, and I see them everywhere
2
now.
months.
So
I bet she's done a lot of science.
When you say that the standards are well within the FCC guidelines,
yes.
I'd be more comfortable with the CDC.
Yes.
The Centers for Disease Control. Yeah.
Well, because
but the CDC doesn't regulate that.
know sometimes how that FCC, how that works.
Sure.
Right? They don't necessarily test it themselves first before they okay it. They take it.
Yes, that is correct. It is the responsibility of the installers to do the testing and then report. Now, if they're caught lying, they can get a lot of trouble, right? So, and it's not that difficult. People can measure it themselves. So if there's anybody that finds any stuff over the limit, report it. Absolutely. Let me know. I'll help you report it, because I don't want them to be having stuff over the legal limit either, and I'll back you on that. The thing is, everybody's got these meters. They don't know how to read them. They don't know what the limits are at all. Nobody looks it up. They don't know even how to read the numbers correctly. Mark Steele will see something that's 4.345, 4.345. 4 digits. He'll miss the decimal point and he'll say it's 3,000 or 4,000. He doesn't even understand how to read it. And he's like, that's way over the limit. It's not. You missed the decimal point. Take your sunglasses off, Mark Steele, you ding-dong. How can you be that dumb? There's a decimal point. Seriously, we learn about this in elementary school.
They take the word of a company that actually tests?
Well, everybody agrees more research needs to be done.
Yeah.
So hopefully that will happen.
We'll remember this report.
We have video from the FCC proceedings with one of the 5G engineers saying themselves, look, we are forcing these directed beams into people's windows at levels that we do not allow in our labs.
Yeah, I need the citation on that.
Our safety labs. What we have is the industry clearly lying to public representatives, which should outrage you enough that you stop the process. And what you need to understand is no wireless device, and 5G included, is safety tested.
That's wrong completely. Every cell phone has to go through some testing, and so what they do is they have a couple different tests. When it's in the speaking position, it's 0.8 millimeter distance from the skin, so right here like this, right? And the antenna's at the bottom, so you see it's away from the face. Thank you, Apple, for doing that. And all right, so then there's also a couple different ways that they have to test it, and then they have to report it. And so you can get, for whatever phone you have, you can get the report, and then you can go you can compare to the specified limits to see if it's allowed, right? So you got what Apple reports, or the cell phone manufacturer, and what is allowed. And then if you disbelieve that, do your own testing and see if it's over. So that the guy I had on a couple weeks ago with the actual tinfoil hat, Keith Karicki, he's done that. He's got 2 meters, and he tested. And he's like, that's too high. I go, Keith, you're on the wrong setting. That's, this. And so I guided him and he listened. Thank you very much, Keith. He's listening. He wants to learn. So I love that from him. That he, and he's like, in the end, he's like, oh, okay, so it's not over the limit. I don't like it, he says, but it's not over the limit. So then you go back to, well, what's the course of action? You don't complain on YouTube because it's not over the, not over the limit. You go to science and say, okay, well, what's the actual, proper limits that it should be? Maybe it should be changed. So, okay, let's get back to here. If this one is a super popular video, and I think it completely destroys them. I don't know why they bring it up. It's kind of silly, but here we go.
In December of 2018, I sent a letter to FCC Commissioner Carr asking him to cite for me recent scientific studies demonstrating the safety of this technology. What research has been done, where has it been published and compiled. He has essentially failed to do so.
No, I'm not aware of any.
So there really is no research ongoing. We're kind of flying blind here, so far as health and safety is concerned.
No, not actually.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So
you might be asking.
Let's go over that. Specifically testing on 5G, maybe not. Specific testing on 5G done by the cell phone companies. So when people post that, I always ask the same thing. I said, so you're saying that you would accept research done by the cell phone companies? They're like, oh, no. Like, then why would you ask them to do research if you're not going to accept research from them? Who should be doing the research? Well, they never come up with an answer, right? They say independent. Like, well, who's going to fund that? Oh, yeah, that research doesn't happen for free. The money is going to come from the government, or is it going to come from cell phone companies? They're like, because they always like to go and look at, well, who's the funding source? Well, who do you want to fund it? Anyway, there is research about RF radio frequencies in all of the ranges that people are concerned about. The ICNIRP has compiled a bunch of research studies, and I have this on my website. I'll pull it up so that you can have a look here. So if you want anything on 5G, you go to mctoon.net/5G. Unsurprisingly. So right there on the top, the very first one is the ICNIRP Guidelines 2020. Right there. And so you can look at the actual PDF yourself. I have a link to the original source at the original website, and I downloaded a copy you can pull directly from my website. And the 39 citations are listed right there, and if they are publicly available, you can click it and look at it yourself. So these are the different studies that they use to consider whether what levels were safe, right? So did they do testing? Absolutely, right here, 39 studies for you, right? It goes on and on. Now, every one of them is available. Some of them you will need to have typically an academic subscription or pay for it, or if you want, I do have a copy of every one of them. Let me know. The very last one is from the World Health Organization. It is not available anymore. If you find a copy of it, I'd like to see it, but I don't know why it was just I think it was a meta report, which is a study compiling different studies together. So some people don't like the World Health Organization, some people do. I don't know. They're citing studies that weren't necessarily done by them. So whether you like them or not, I don't think it matters a whole lot because it wasn't actually their stuff. So Kason Morrill has a problem with 5G towers and some biological effects he gets, or I'm hoping it's a he. Says something with erections. So I'm hoping that's something you can see your doctor about there. Kason, whatever. So, man, so much work, MC Toon, when people who need it most likely will ignore it. A shame. Well, so if you find yourself on Facebook or somewhere, and they're saying 5G this and that, go to my website. I'm working on still building up a bunch of resources on 5G, but mctoon.net/5G as the things that I've been working on. So cell tower destruction, electromagnetic sensitivity studies. I think I got 5 of them listed there. I got some stuff if you want to analyze 5G or radio frequency stuff. Here's some good tools to use, not these kind of cheap ones for $100 or $150. Or right, these are expensive. You'll spend thousands of dollars on them, but then you'll find out what frequencies are actually coming out of a tower. So anyway, let's get FCC guidelines, ICNIRP guidelines, and I have the fake 5G technology induction of coronavirus in skin cells study right on here. The one that was removed by both so they said that DNA can manufacture coronavirus RNA at the direction of 5G. It's crazy. The main author of the study has agreed to be on my channel. Mid-September is the target. So there we go. That'll be fun. I hope I'm going to get 1 or 2 people that I'll probably just kind of guide it and have some people. That's what Keith Shipley was just talking about. I've seen the last studies a few months ago from Italy, Rome, Russia on 5G. That's the one exactly. I emailed every one of the authors I could find. I missed one of their email addresses I could not track down. So all right, let's get back to this guy. So would you accept studies from a cell phone company? Yes or no? If the answer is no, then why are you complaining that they did not do studies? You wouldn't take it anyway. And
perhaps some people are being injured by this, but if you're not feeling it, it's probably not that big of a deal. And I think that's a very common experience. But it's not as simple as saying that just a few unfortunate people are being affected by this. Because what the science shows is that we're all affected on some level, whether we can feel it or not. So to think that we could put an exponential amount of microwave radiation...
Not exponential. Not multiplicative. Additive is what it is. And still must be under the regulation limits, right? So, even though it's a TED Talk, doesn't make him right. It's not an exponential amount more.
Into our environment and not feel effects is simply false.
Your claim is simply false.
And it's not just headaches and insomnia. It's much more serious things, such as infertility, DNA damage, and eventually cancer.
Again, where's the studies on that conclude that these things are going to happen? There's some that say, there's potential, but nothing yet that said this is it for sure.
Across the street
this guy
is the cell phone tower. All right, so all
right, look at this. Human biological effects start at 003. I don't know why I put the zeros at the beginning. TEDx is, that was a TEDx talk. TEDx is not TED. They just have the same format, but TEDx basically never deal with science. Well, that explains it there. So that guy was not quite too much on that. All right, anyway, so 003 to 006 microwatts per square meter. Where is the documentation of this? And just saying biological effects happen there doesn't mean anything, right? And so then they say 5G tower across the street, 1,400 to 2,000 plus microwatts per square centimeter. Now the thing is, the legal limits are, I gotta get these correct. They're significantly higher, way higher than that particular meter can actually read. There it is. The ICNIRP legal limit is 80,000 microwatts per square meter. 80,000. They're saying it was 2,000. So again, it's back to the same thing. If 2,000 is too high, show the evidence for that. Don't just say something and then expect, right? This is science. This isn't woo, right? Bring some actual science if you're going to be talking like that.
In line of sight of the cell phone tower right here.
So I looked up the specs on this meter. It looks like it's a pretty decent meter. It doesn't read high enough for any purposes that you would want for safety, because it stops at 2,000 microwatts or 2 milliwatts, which is way below the allowed levels. Yeah, my Mr. Unite for the Children, did they want that to be 0.003 to 0.006 microwatts per square meter? I don't know, because they didn't cite any sources on that. I don't know why you would prefix with leading zeros like that. Nobody does that. So,
and you can see I have the meter set to peak, and I'm getting peak readings. It almost overloads the meter. When it goes to 1, that's an overload.
Which doesn't matter.
We're at roughly 1,500 to 2,000 microwatts per square meter, and you can see the radio frequency meters pointing right at the cell phone tower.
So, who cares?
No,
it doesn't matter. It's
what happens
very low, and that meter cannot read high enough to matter.
I walk in back of the bank building. So now the cell phone tower is being blocked by the building, but I'm still picking up 50 to 75 microwatts per square meter.
So, sure, you still are. And that shows you something that's very important that you see in the snake oil people. They claim that you can put a sticker on your phone, or I think I have one. No, I didn't put it in here. My sister gave me a sticker to put on my phone. She paid money for it. I never put it on. If a sticker on your phone, little sticker, that's a brick wall, right? It's going through this brick wall and the brick wall on the other side, and it's going through at about a 45-degree angle, it looks like. So you're actually going through quite a bit of brick in order to drop that power. A little sticker, not going to do it. They sell like these rocks that you put in your house, or a device you put in your house, or some jewelry, sugarite or something. No, you need a brick wall. You need an actual brick wall to reduce the frequencies, or not the frequency, the power. It's about power. They get confused in frequency and power, and it bleeds over onto me. So darn it, I'm gonna try to not do that. I'll get to super chats in just a second here. Sasha Stone has a USB stick that he sells for apparently 400 pounds. Mr. Bozo had a lot. We'll just say it's a lot. And it's just a basic little USB stick. It's got nothing in it. It's just got a sticker, a shiny sticker. It's what a scumball. It doesn't do anything. If I remember right, there's several of them, but one of them you plug in and it charges it, and then you bring it around with you. This little USB stick is going to protect you from RF. And you have to plug it in to charge it, and then it's good for a day or two, right? What battery? How could you do that? Yes, it's magic beans. So, all right, let me do a couple super chats here while I'm off on it. So here, Christ Puncher or Punchy for 2 Canadian dollars says Canada doesn't exist, MC Tune. And that reminds me, I'm hungry. Just a second here. I'm gonna have a little snacky poo. There you go. Oh, there we go. Ketchup chips. Anybody want some? Stop by. Oh, crunchy. Tastes better than last week. All right. Well. Ooh. Yum. Not. I'm kidding. It's not. I don't like them. I got a toothpick though, so I'll be digging those out for the next half an hour. GPS for $2 says oxygen. Of course, the FCC is against. C equals carbon. I don't know. I don't understand that. Of course. All right. Anyway. Thank you, GPS. Andreas Eld for 20 secs. Yay. Ike means not in Swedish, so he isn't David. Talking about David Ike, or Icky, as I like to call him. Saeed Ahmed for $2.99 American dollars says, an angry MC Toon is the best MC Toon. Hashtag savage. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I try to keep it not angry, but you know, if somebody earns it, feels good, doesn't it? They got to earn it, though, not just anybody. So, and then second best Bob is a new member, a Newton member. Thank you very much. Second best Bob. So let's see. They, oh yeah, I need to do a new, will Dion be on later? Dion has kind of gotten a little, I think, scared. So let's see. I'll see if he even read my message. I asked, he wants to put it off. So I said, how about an hour late? No answer yet. He hasn't read the message. So yeah, and the George said, for $2, no appointment, no opponent tonight. Will Dion be later? On later? I don't think so, Jordan. So there you go. Oh, Gary Donnelly, thank you very much. Member of Newton. So, emojis. I need to do a couple more emojis. I have a couple empty spots. So, they're so small. I'd like to do Mark Steele dual wielding the sunglasses, but I don't know if that would. Oh my gosh, I don't know if he would. If that emoji would look good, but I'll give it a shot. I'll maybe try it. Jessica G says, Dean Maroney is a Sleeping Warrior fanboy. Let's see here. That might be good. I'll see if anybody's interested. Go send some messages to some Flurfies and see if they want to. I think I've seen this goofball before.
Can see that they're.
Yeah. I have seen him before, and there's a couple guys. So, Ilya, you can make me an emoji. Awesome, do that. I would love that. So, yeah. Okay. Let's get back to this insanity video. Put that back over there. And there you go.
And the radio frequency radiation is not going around the building, it's going through the building. And this is my concern for people who work inside this building. I'm standing behind solid brick walls here.
So he's basically shown it's safe. Thank you.
And I'm still picking up 60 to 80 microwatts per square meter. Biological effects are said to start at 3.4 to 6 microwatts per square meter.
5G will be as much as 100 times faster than the current 4G cellular networks. The FCC is taking very bold action, probably bolder than they've ever.
I like this guy. You can't see my cursor, but the guy in the top left there, watch his face. He's like, why do I have to wear this hat inside? All right, you got the other guys with the hats on too, but I think his hat's the worst. Just watch his face. Like, what the hell's going on?
Ever taken before. It's a new frontier to make wireless spectrum available. By next year, the United States is on pace to have more 5G spectrum than any other country in the world. That's a big statement because, as you know, some people got ahead of us. We should have been doing this a long time ago, as advanced as it may be. In addition, last October, I directed the Department of Commerce to develop a national spectrum strategy to free up even more spectrum for economic activity, including 5G. The FCC has also taken action to streamline the permitting process for 5G infrastructure with state and local governments. That's a big deal. It takes too long to get permits. We're going to free that situation up, and we're going to put limits, and the local areas are going to listen to us very, very strongly. They have a big incentive to do that. They must now approve new physical infrastructure within 90 days instead of many years. It can sometimes take 3, 4, and 5 years. We're going to put a limit of 90 days. And there is now a cap on the unreasonable fees local governments often charge. They get greedy. They think, hey, we can really take advantage, and it ends up that everybody gets hurt.
All right, well, I don't know. Regardless of politics, I think, you know, if you want to have technology move forward, having things, regulations that make applying for permits take a long time is a pain in the butt. So clearing that up, I think that's a good idea. I don't know why that's even in here, but whatever, you know, regulations are less. Okay, fine. So pulling at the heartstrings again here.
Given this information, you can see why someone like me, or anybody else that has dealt with a cancer diagnosis, has a concern over the implementation of 5G technology. My questions to the committee are, has the committee determined that this technology is safe? And if you have, what safety determinations were done? What kind of scientific or medical background did these people do to make a determination that this technology is safe for me, for you, for your children, for your grandchildren? This technology is very
RF has been tested for decades. There you go.
Controversial, and I believe we need to give serious consideration up front to the review of the scientific and medical research studies and documentation. Many experts have determined that this technology is unsafe for human health, and I think the committee needs to take this into consideration. So I have a request. It's twofold. I request that this Energy and Technology Committee please take some time, take a pause, review the testimony of and the documents that are available to people, and the hope is that we will be able to bring some more documentation to you to show you the medical and scientific impacts of this technology. I'm not sure I understand what the rush is to push this through before people.
At least she didn't say scientifical.
People have had an opportunity to provide you some information to show you that there is danger to you and your families.
My dinner table conversation.
All right, so she just said, I want to see the science. What's out there? You didn't look for it. So it's been done.
Is what other countries don't have this technology? Are we going to be leaving our families to just be safe, just be able to live? When I go out of town to stay in a hotel, I have to see how close it is to a cell phone tower, if it has a cell phone tower.
Wireless radiation has biological effects, period.
Ooh, I wouldn't want that effect. Just let the women have that effect, I guess.
This is no longer a subject for debate when you look at PubMed and the peer-reviewed literature. These effects are seen in all life forms: plants, animals, insects, microbes. In humans, we have clear evidence of cancer now. There is no question.
There is question, actually. Cite the scientific study that concluded blah, 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 causes cancer. So she's probably the best one, actually, of the group. I've watched this before. I've seen her before. There is science. There are research studies that talk about this stuff. They're not super conclusive. But here's the thing. It's you went from David Icke, who's like, it's a weapons system, and it's, compared it to the crowd dispersion technology, which I wouldn't like. I mean, you'd feel it. You wouldn't like it, but it's not killing people. It's not damaging people. It's not, right? You just run away if that was happening to you. But, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't have the power. You'd have to bring a whole lot thicker wires to those places. Then you got on the other side, this one where they're actually like talking about research. So which one is it? Is it woo? Or is it let's talk about actual research? Because that's what she's talking about. And I'm good with that. Let's talk about it. But, yeah, Andreas Eld, 5G causes period. How did we procreate before electricity? So Johnny B said for $5 says those hard hats are lined with foil. I can't believe I had an actual tinfoil hat wearing guy. Can you? Nice guy. I like Keith. I talk to him every week. He's trying. Hopefully he learns.
We have evidence of DNA damage, cardiomyopathy, which is the precursor of congestive heart failure, neuropsychiatric effects. So 5G is not a conversation about whether or not these biological effects exist. They clearly do. The closer you live to a cell tower, the higher your blood glucose. That is based on hemoglobin A1C measurements.
That's an interesting thing. I'm not far from I'm not close to a cell tower. I'm in a suburb. The people that live near me are far from cell towers because they live near me, right? If you go downtown Minneapolis or downtown St. Paul or maybe to some of the inner ring suburbs, much denser population, much denser cell phone tower distribution. What's the cause? That's the thing. You're looking for a causal relationship. Is it that there is something about people who live in dense areas that have higher blood sugar levels? Or is it causing it because they're because of the cell phones? That's unclear, right? Glucose is not hemoglobin. Yet that's true. So I don't know if that's quite the right thing. But Stringer News 1 was saying something about auctioning frequency ranges and how that's an issue. I don't know the best way to distribute RF spectrum and people squatting. I'm not a fan of people squatting on things. Domain names is something that has been something that people have squatted on for a long time. But yeah, I don't like that. But I got to be honest. Like if I see a new something coming out, I go and grab MC Tune so that I don't have to come back later and somebody else has already taken it. So the moon is a hologram, says Smo's Drunken Coon Arts. Make sure to destroy me on that claim too, MC Tune. Woo! Poor Smo. He's not. I don't know. Do you think in the chat? Just take this chance here. Do you think that Deon Schmo, backed out because he got destroyed last week and he doesn't want to get destroyed again? Do a 1. And if you think that that's not the case, do a 734. So in the chat, go ahead. So I'm getting a few 1s here. I'm not seeing a whole lot of. What was the other number I said? I don't know. Yes. Well, thank you for that. There you go, Smo. Let's see. I bet there will be no proof about 5G allegations. Absolutely. Christopher and Dave, you only get 1 vote. Come on, man. So, all right.
So the idea with small cells of putting the cells closer to people's homes and bedrooms scientifically is very dangerous.
Oh, apparently when you slow down the audio on something, it makes it more dangerous or more badder. So let me do this. I have a little thing here. I'm going to draw a couple cell towers for fun here, just to think about how these things work. There's the ground. Now, I used a ruler and it's flat. It's not actually flat. It's very slightly curved. You just can't see it. It's too small. So you got a big old tower here. Right there. There's your big tower. You know what? I have this right here. Look at that. I can set it up. Hold on. Give me a second so you can see it. It'll be gooder. Let's see. You just want duplicate that. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Duplicate that. There you go. Inset 2. Change the camera. That's all I got to do. Change the add a camera. And then you can see it and it'll be upside down. Where's the camera? Media source. I forgot. Oh no. An existing one. Video capture device. I have camera 2 already. There it is. There it is. And it's upside down. We don't want it upside down, but we can change it so it's not upside down. So give me a second here. Oops. because you want to see what I draw in real time, don't you? Why is that moving? Stop moving. So sorry about this. I think it's going to be worth it, but it's going to be super scientifical, won't it? So all right, there. Oh, now it's upside down. That's the problem. You're going to want it right side up. So how do I do that in OBS? Transform, rotate. There it is. There you go. All right. Got a little extra stuff on the screen, but that'll be good. All right, so you got your cell phone there. Cell phone time. You got this, you got your guy. You got somebody here. You got somebody here. Well, he's too tall. Dude's tall. When this tower is sending out a signal, it sends out as much as is necessary, and it will meter down how much it needs to send. Inverse cube, somebody already says yes. So when it sends to this guy here, right, it sends out at a low power, and this guy over here doesn't get a whole lot, right? And then when it sends out to this guy here, we want it nice and straight. Because it's farther away, it must send out a stronger signal, right? So, but the guy down here gets the same stronger signal because he's closer to it. So he's getting a lot more power than the other guy. But now let's say we switch that out for smaller towers, right? We do 2 smaller towers, and we're going to not use this one anymore, right? So this guy talks to this tower, and it sends out just enough power for that tower. This guy talks to this tower and sends out just enough power. Now, when this guy is being communicated to, this guy doesn't get hardly anything, right? So it actually reduces this guy's exposure when you have 2 towers instead of 1. Now this tower probably isn't going to be removed. It's still going to be happening, but these towers are going to be used more for more of the data. So it's a net potential reduction in power. Not a guarantee, because there's more people out there, more cell phones out there. So it could be that it's a little bit of an incorrect position, but there you go. It's a potential. So I kind of like that. I like that it can reduce that. So more towers can reduce. It's not necessarily like every tower is blasting all the time. So
probably don't even notice them, but cell towers are everywhere, especially here in downtown. Like this one behind me, it's that white cylinder you see sitting on top of that light pole. And with 5G coming to San Diego, there's going to be even more of them.
People need to check this stuff out.
Protesting the rollout of a 5G network in San Diego.
We don't want to be experimented on. They're not doing the proper safety studies.
And for
they have.
Hours. Speaker
Your
after
ignorance
speaker
doesn't mean it didn't
addressed the
happen.
County Board of Supervisors today.
Local neighborhoods would be seeing something the size of a refrigerator showing up on a street pole, and they could say nothing to stop it.
A library, a school.
On traffic signals, on light poles. This would give the companies free rein to install these small cells on any public infrastructure, and we would have no ability to say no.
Stop the rollout
That's
of
correct,
5G
yeah.
service. That is the message.
If you don't like it, talk to your city council.
Hundreds of people are trying to send to Charlotte leaders.
They're popping up outside bedroom windows and school campuses, despite objections from across the country.
I think doing more studies is always a good thing.
Do you think that maybe you should consider putting a pause on legislation that speeds up these towers until there's definitive evidence that there is no harm?
Ooh, is no harm. And you'll see that a lot. Is no harm. So you're asking, you want to prove that it does not harm. So you want to prove a negative, is what you're asking. Can you prove that water does not harm? You cannot. Water is given to toddlers all day long, yet it's not been proven to not harm. In fact, people may know this, liquid water inhalation can cause death. We call it drowning. Gaseous water contact to the skin causes severe burns. We call it steam. And being struck at high velocity by water in solid form can cause concussions or brain damage or broken bones. You don't want that. But we still sell water. It's not been proven safe. So, sorry, you can't prove safety, actually. It's impossible. So, the little men have no mobile device. They need little phones to make it scientifical. So, yeah, Hujar's Dane Bramage. Are you not familiar with Dane Bramage? So, yes, Dane Bramage is a problem if you get struck in the head at high velocity with water in solid form. But if you want to make homemade ice cream, I like to use water in solid form with some chlorine, which is a deadly gas, and sodium, which is an explosive metal if you put it in water. And I pour it. First I make sure that the chlorine and the sodium are bound together, and then I put it right on the water, and it doesn't explode. Chemistry, people. There you go. All right, hold on. Spurs, less water in the air. Oh, yeah. Spurs is stupid. You know, there's a lot of flat earthers. I'm like, yeah, I'd like to debate them. I don't really want to. I mean, I would, but it's not on my list. I don't have them on my list. I do have a list of flat earthers to debate. I don't care. Spurs is too stupid. I don't know if he's real. It's too dumb. So, yeah. There you go, Hugh Jars. Spurs has Dane Bramage. Using it in a sentence. Very nice.
We can do a lot of studies, and there are people right now, believe it or not, who are sure the world is flat.
We're going to get some meters, and we're going to measure the...
Whoa. Did he just... Hold on a second. Did he just say what I think he said?
No harm?
We can do a lot of studies, and there are people right now, believe it or not, who are sure the world is flat.
We're going to get some meters, and we're going to measure
I think he said something about the world is... today. Well, studies, and then we'll show the world is flat, right? There's a flat earther that did this video, too, not just an anti-5G guy. So, yeah, people saying, yeah, Spurs is yeah, exactly. It's not a... That's why I don't care. So, yeah, the dangers of liquid ice... Or do you mean liquid water, Chris and Dave? Because, yeah, liquid water is... Actually, dihydrogen monoxide is probably more dangerous. If you're familiar with that, every single shark attack happened in close proximity to dihydrogen monoxide. Dihydrogen monoxide in solid form can cause cell death on contact. So... anyway, I'm not going to go on. It's silly. People have gone over that before. So did I hear anything from Xavier / Roveda, whatever? No. If you look on Facebook, he made a kind of a death threat. He said he wanted to put me in his wood chipper. So go find that post on my site. And if you want to have a conversation with him, he's constantly in there getting the crap torn out of him for being for being himself. So... Feel free to pop in there if you want to look on Facebook and see the turdery that he's putting out there. So, Cretan Bull for 5 Canadian says, I joined late. First thing I heard, it was Spurs is stupid. Turns out I was right on time. Oh, yep. And then Don Giovanni says, NIMBYism at its finest. I don't know what NIMBYism is. I don't know. A Flat Turd Society says, I'm blocked for pointing out he said he melted his brain. Yes. Wait, Truth Nerds? Excuse me, are you asking me if I'm on MC Toon's Truth or List? Of course not. I'm a rational human being, so... Keith's last 2 messages. Which Keith? In the chat here? Keith in the chat. I don't know if that's what you're talking about. I'll scroll up. I'm looking at Keith. Looking for Keith. I'll just do a find. Water doesn't bend. Keith Shipley, water stay flat. Oh, Keith Shipley. Who is Keith Shipley? I don't know who that is. It's not Keith Karicki. It's a different name. Is it the same? Keith Shipley, are you the same person as Keith Karicki? So yeah, it sounds like Keith Shipley is either parroting Flurfs in humor or is a real Flurf. So, so anyway, yeah, Keith. So Keith Shipley isn't real, people are saying. So, all right, we'll go on.
And then when the cell towers go up, we can measure it and see how dangerous it really is.
And he says if he has to, they'll move.
For my daughter's health, definitely.
The view from Denise Tufano's Woodbury home abruptly changed last month, towering on her front lawn a cell phone repeater.
I could not believe this was actually happening.
Oh, no.
I said, how could the
Cell
town
phone
permit
repeater.
this? How could they do this to us?
She and Woodbury
I'm
neighbors
sorry,
fuming
Karen.
over the
How
placement
could the city do this to us? Oh, whatever, Karen.
of 22 cell repeaters for Verizon in front of homes on what's technically public property without notice or compensation.
Absolutely. It's public property. You don't need to do it with notice or compensation.
Give me $10 million for this, okay? There are potential health risks to these. They are aesthetically not pleasing. There's also the devaluation of our home properties.
Look at, hold on. They installed, the insanity of it. They installed wooden electrical poles and wires going across the sky without permission. What were they thinking? Yeah, that's how they do it.
5G technology promises faster service, but the jury is out on constant exposure to its radio frequency radiation.
Your cell phone you use, you put down. Microwave.
Every one of these has the power lines in the background.
If you use, you stop. This is constant bombardment, and we don't know what is the long-term effects.
Residents say their cell service was good enough.
This is an issue that is critical, not just to all of Long Island, but all of the United States, because across the United States, no wireless facilities are being tested.
Some call it a microwave brew, steps from their bedroom windows.
There are communities that are putting town ordinances in place that will prevent 5G from going in. This community is supposed to be a progressive community. We need to do the same thing. We need to get a town ordinance in place before they roll this out.
Uh-oh. Who's that? Is that our dual-wielding sunglass guy, Mark Steele, who's scared? Deathly scared to debate me? I'll have a message for you later, Mark. After this is done, I'll have a special message just for you.
Once they roll it out, it's going to be hard to stop.
So they had a whole bunch of protests and stuff. Those were, I believe, in England. And in England, that people have been burning down towers and stuff. So yeah, quit doing that, dummies. Most of the towers are burning down are not even 5G towers. Stupid. How can you, like, you're not... If you burn down a 4G cell tower, you know what they're going to replace it with? A 5G cell tower. So yeah. Let's see. Years ago, Springer News 1 says, years ago, my local NBC station did a scare piece on power line EMFs, and every single shot was of phone lines, not power lines. It was hilarious. I've not... And in Minnesota, we don't have... I suppose we do in this, like, the city. If they have alleys, right, then they tend to have stuff up and down alleys. But where I live, there's nothing. There's no poles anywhere, so everything's underground. Love that. So, yeah, but he invented aircraft HUD after aircraft HUD had been invented. Just ask him, of course. All the folk campaigning against 5G, etc., should have sanctions against them buying and owning tech. Yes. So, Crafty Keela, burning down 4G towers is the one fecking time you wish the idiots would do some research. So, yes. Is that a Father Ted reference? I believe so. Love me some Father Ted.
When they unleash this on us,
oh, they're going to unleash it.
Which is not very far off.
you can't see it from here, but just the other side there, you can actually see the cell tower on an...
He's a doctor. What's he a doctor of? DC. What's DC? Anybody? What's a DC doctor? I know. Put in the chat. What's a DC doctor? Mm-hmm. And then there's ND. What's an ND doctor? What's an ND doctor? It's not Doctor of Comics. It's not Detective Comics. Doctor of Chiropractic. He's a chiropractor. I don't have a problem with chiropractors. But putting doctor in front of his name as if it's useful in this particular situation is... No, that's an appeal to authority. He's not... just because of doctor doesn't make him an expert on this particular technology. So, Father Ted couldn't afford you. Okay, and ND. Anybody? What's ND? ND. Yeah, Woo Peddler. Woo Specialist. What? Come on. What's ND, everybody? It's not neuropathy. I don't think. I think it's N for, New Age. Basically New Age doctor. Nothing demonstrable. Naturopath. Naturopath doctor is correct. Beach 8. Beach 8. As far as I know. Maybe there's a different acronym for that. Watch some of Miles' power videos on chiropractor sometime. Send me the links. I might have a look. Anyway, and EMF consultant. So this guy's name is Ross. That's it. Doesn't matter. It's Ross. He is an EMF consultant because the other things don't apply. So he's going to talk about stuff. I have no problem with Ross being an EMF consultant, but saying that he's a doctor is not applicable here.
Apartment building not very far away. And when we did the inspection on this home, we found the readings inside the home were significant and way above what are called building biology safety standards. Building biology was the original discipline in electromagnetic radiation out of Germany. So the
it's out of Germany. So the 40s?
Readings inside this house are way too high for comfort. And
comfort. Do you feel it? I mean, he's standing outside. He's not inside where it's going to be less. Does he feel it? Is it comfortable or not comfortable? Because he's certainly getting more power where he is outside. But so far, in all double-blind studies, nobody has been able to feel RF. So, exactly. Clive Wells, such doctorates are the equivalent of stolen valor. I'll give you that, yeah. 5G made my back pop once. That's why he's qualified. So, all right. So, Bunny 2007, as I was talking about Jay Roveda making death threats against me. He's a nothing. He made a half-an-hour rant challenge to debate on Facebook, and then when invited to debate, didn't show, right? He refused to agree on the time. I said, how about this time? He said he would debate. He did agree to a debate. I said, how about this time? A day ahead. Now, he says he's retired, so he has nothing going on. Anyway, earlier in the day, he'd been commenting on the Facebook post talking about the debate. So he knew about it. He never said, no, that time doesn't work. Let's do it a different time. All he did was not show. So anyway, Bunny, he lives in California. I've thought about reporting it. It wasn't quite enough for them to do anything, but because he's in California and they've had a little bit of a busy time with police in the LA area right now, I don't think it would get enough attention to bother. So a kind of, that's why I said kind of death threat. It's not quite enough, but feel free to go on there and tell him what you think about him, because he's a real piece of work. So, all right, comfort. Back to this guy's comfort. The not
long-term exposure can lead to significant health challenges. So what we're doing with this house is we are shielding it. I got my first cell phone in 1993. It's a long time ago. You couldn't even use it outside of the city. Coverage is virtually everywhere.
All right, so here's the big problem that he really misses. Obviously, he doesn't know much about EMF. The cell phones in the 1993 had big outputs because the towers were far away. Everything was analog. There was not error correction in the system. All sorts of stuff that we've developed since then to have much lower power. So he had a high power cell phone, and the phone puts out more power than the tower. So he had that going. How did he not feel uncomfortable from that?
And the levels that we're being exposed to have increased dramatically and increase every single month. And so now people think it's normal. The technology has been what I call normalized. If you watch your favorite TV show, everybody's got a smartphone. Everybody's talking on the smartphone.
Big Bang Theory, good show.
And so it's become normal to people. You go to any big store, and every third person is on the phone. You walk downtown, and everybody's having a chat, walking down the street. So how could it possibly be dangerous, right?
We are here at the Supreme Court because this is an absolute...
Well, that's a good thing there. Stringer News 1. 1G car phones maxed out at 3 watts. 1G handheld's only 600 milliwatts. So I don't know what the current ones are. So
and major injustice that's happening right under our noses. Literally, people have no idea. With the rollout of 5G.
All right, let me address. I mean, he had 2 points. He's trying to talk about EM health and RF health and stuff like that. He's way off there. I think he's got a great point. People are on their cell phones all the time, and I do it too, right? When you're with people, be with people. I tell that to my kids all the time. Don't listen to music when you're with people, right? Take out your earbuds or whatever and interact with the people so they know. Don't walk into the kitchen or the living room with your earbuds on. I don't even see them anymore. They're in their pocket by the time they get in the room, right? If they're in their room and they're listening to something, super, whatever. But and when you're with people, when you're at a restaurant, you're hanging out with people, when you're hammocking, I got a kid out hammocking right now, be with them. Don't sit on your phone the whole time. But that's a whole different issue, isn't it? Right? That's a behavioral and a sociological issue and a parenting issue. So parents, teach your kids. My opinion, don't be on your phone all the time. Be with people. So I know, and guys, when you're on a date, put that phone down. Be with your woman. There you go. All right. Let's get back.
We no longer can afford to be quiet. We can no longer afford to be still and not take action.
So I like to ask, what feature, these experts on Facebook and stuff, they're like 5G, blah, blah. What feature of 5G is the dangerous one? Is it the frequency? Because the frequency ranges are, except for the very small cases in the US, they're the same, right? In the UK, I don't think they have assigned the spectrum yet. They're still working on that. They've talked about it, but it's not been assigned yet. So I think as far as I know, could be more information to be sent. Send it to me if I'm wrong on this. As far as I know, the only place is in the United States where they have frequency above 5 gigahertz, right? And people have had home Wi-Fi at 5.2 gigahertz for a long time, which will be putting out a higher power than the cell phone tower would. And your phone isn't going to be sending back to the tower on 5 gigahertz. It's going to be sending back to the tower mostly at lower frequencies, because lower frequencies penetrate better, and the lower power from your phone can get through the walls of your house easier. And the The cell tower has a bigger antenna and stuff like that, so it doesn't need as much. But the deal is, mostly the high frequency is for sending, and so that's what you'll receive at your place. But the power levels will be extremely low. So let's see. Tommy Gronvald, old Norwegian cell phone, car phone version of NMT used transmission power of up to 15 watts. Oh my. And 6 watts handsets. 6 watt handset up to 1 watt. 6 watt handset up. Oh, in the phone. Yeah, in the car. So, yes. So there you go. Some history. Okay, I'll look at that. Oh, yeah. That's cool. Everybody look at Tommy Gronvald's link there. Thanks, Tommy. Nordic mobile phone. So I know some of the Nordic countries were early in the adoption of cell phones. So anyway, yes. Low frequencies penetrate better. Giggity. Calm down there, Craven. So, all right. Was that? Yes. If you know of any deployed, like it's been allocated and there's first been allocated, second starting to deploy anywhere else other than the US at frequencies higher than 5 gigahertz, let me know. I'd love to know. I'm going to be putting a page on my website with the current allocations and uses. So it's a lot of information. So in the UK, they are using 60 gigahertz not to talk to your phone, from my understanding, and I've been talking with a few guys that are actually the installers and the technical engineers in this. They're using it for point-to-point communication between nodes, but not to your phone. So it's not something that's going to your house, and they tend to be highly directional antennas like dish antennas, so that it's a very narrow range. So when you're off beam, the amount is extremely small. It's extremely low power. So yeah, anyway, there is a specific test bed in the UK that is using 60 gigahertz in a mesh network. It's talking node to node only in these directional antennas. So who's saying that? Zafad Beeblebrox is saying not aware of any 60 gigahertz. There is some. So Mike on the Bayou has a CB radio that has potential to output 8 kilowatts. 8 kilowatts. Now that's not the 100 kilowatts at 95 gigahertz. That's just 8. So yeah, that's even way lower than the thing that David Icky was talking about. So sit down. Hey, yeah. Jessica G saying sit down with debunkers. There you go. Hit that link there. So we're almost done with this video, and then I got that a throwdown to Mark Steele.
What I ask every person here and every person watching this video is that you wake up and you wake up others. That you take action. We already know that the wireless industry has met with the president and gotten his commitment to facilitate the rollout.
All right, does that guy shaking Trump's hand right there, does he look like Vizzini from Princess Bride? I'll back it up. You just tell me. Is that Vizzini there?
His commitment to facilitate the rollout of 5G small cell transmitters near people's homes. And the lies of the industry are magnificent.
I'm sorry, but I don't want to be an emperor. That's not my business.
Wait, what's this? I don't know what this is here for.
I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise.
He's got Michael Jackson. I don't know. Why has he got Michael Jackson?
One another. In this world, there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone.
Now, remember, it's a flat earther who did this video. So here is the best evidence ever, which is probably from a fisheye lens.
The way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls, has barricaded the world with hate, has goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed.
By
More than
way of
machinery,
JFK.
we need humanity. Without these qualities, life will be violent, and all will be lost. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. Soldiers, Don't give yourselves to brutes. Men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these
He did
unnatural
chemtrails.
men,
He's got
machine
vaccines
men
here.
with machine minds and machine
I wonder if
hearts.
this is like his standard
You have the
trailer.
love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate, only the unloved hate. The unloved and the unnatural. Dictators free themselves, but they enslave the people. Now let us fight to fulfill that promise. Let us fight to free the world, to do away with national barriers, to do away with greed, with hate and intolerance. Let us fight for a world of reason, a world where science and progress
So here he has his flat Earth garbage here, of course.
will lead to all men's happiness.
But I thought that was funny. Look at this. Oh.
Some progress will
This is the stupidest model ever. He's got Saturn. It looks like you got the flat Earth in the middle that they have, and then like these concentric rings. So he's got like Saturn way out there. If that was the case, Saturn would only ever be super low in the sky to the south. The dumbest model ever. How dumb can people be?
lead to all men's happiness.
We have a significant problem. It's common sense. We are electromagnetic beings. We conduct. Our cells operate electromagnetically. They repair electromagnetically. They communicate electromagnetically.
Some of this is true. Non sequitur.
And we are messing with the basic functioning of our cells. We are microwaving our population. We are microwave poisoning our population, and we're also wondering why everyone's getting cancer, it seems like. We
Again, correlation is not causation.
are microwaving our reproductive organs and wondering why we're having these problems.
Dude, we're not having a problem with underpopulation in the U.S.
As Daphne Talkover says, we have a failure of common sense.
In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man, nor a...
All right, so let's just woo from the end there. So I
can feel you now.
Ooh, got the Matrix. So, all right, well, thank you for watching that with me. That was crazy. So, Keith Shipley, I don't know. Are you an actual flurf or are you just messing around? I don't know. People are saying that you're not real. So, we're talking about people burning 4G towers and believing in flat Earth, and you ask how stupid can a person be? Yeah, I guess you're right. So, all right. Nelio? I don't want to get that right. Nelio says, for £2, says harm herm r. Thank you very much for that. So, if we stood in a Faraday cage, what would happen? Something, the human body would immediately fail. Something, electromagnetics don't work in a Faraday cage. I don't know. Ben Smith, hi MC Toon, just got here. What have I missed? You missed that last week Simon was on and got crushed too much, so didn't show up today. Though he says he's camping and has no access. So I don't know. I'm going to. He said, can he come back in 2 days? Well, so maybe in 2 days. We'll see. So, well, thank you for watching that. I have this thing about Mark Steele. So I'll give you a little update. Lee Garrett has I've challenged him to debate as well. He's Mark Steele's little puppy dog. You know when they got the big dog in the cartoon and then the little ippy one, like running around, and what are we gonna do? Hey, what are we gonna do today? That's in my mind that is Lee Garrett. So Lee has said, I've challenged him to a debate. Lee said he would show up on any channel anytime, but he's refused so far. Anyway, so he's like, he said after his legal issue, so he's got some court date coming up, I think Friday, for blackmail because of information that he shared publicly about people that he shouldn't have. I don't know exactly what it is. Not going to get into it. That's for the courts. So he has something going on Friday. And he had asked me to, back in June, I think, was saying, I got court dates and stuff coming up. Let's do it after the court dates. So maybe this will happen. Maybe he'll be in jail. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But so he messaged me this morning, tried to call me on Facebook. Like, he doesn't know time zones. It was the middle of the night for me. So he wants to debate on 5G, but first he wants to debate on the things said about him on my channel. He's got a big ego, it seems. So I'm like, well, we can talk about that. Send me the video and send me the timestamp of the things. And of course, I'll do the same for you, the things that you have said about me, or the things that have been on your channel about me. You can address them and prove them or apologize for them. So that's what he wants. He wants me to prove these accusations or apologize. So I can handle that. So learn way of world first, how it actually works. The grammar, Keith Shipley, the grammar. Something weird. So if Lee Garrett is watching, I wonder if he will be casting to his TV and screen recording it. You don't need to screen record this. You can just download the video if you want there. So that's Lee Garrett. Now, Mark Steele. Mark Steele he has made some accusations about me. For some reason, the British 5G nutters think that basically they signal defeat in that they have no argument by accusing somebody of being a nonce, which means a pedophile to Americans. So he's accused that of me, in fact, on a video. So Mark Steele, you got any evidence of that? That's pretty rude. So no, you don't. Anyway, Mark Steele, you're a coward. You run away and you block whenever somebody challenges you. There's a whole list of people that have said that they want to debate you, and you don't. You run away. Why is that? Is it that whenever somebody is more skilled or qualified than you, and you know that they're going to completely and totally embarrass you, that you'll run away, that you won't engage with them in a debate? Because every single time, with no evidence, no lookup, no nothing, you just say, oh, they're a nonce. I'm not going to debate you because you're a nonce. So yeah, that's kind of a weak way to back out of things. So yeah, Mark Steele, I challenge you to debate. I'll do it on a neutral platform. I'll do it on Modern Day Debates. I'll do it on Agree to Disagree. Maybe we can set it up to be on BBC. I do it there. You don't need to do it on my channel. Lee Garrett, you're on my channel. You're nothing. You're just a little puppy dog. But Mark Steele, we'll go to a neutral place. So those are acceptable to me. If you have some other place where you could propose, maybe, but those are the ones I propose, and those venues are neutral and they will not interfere. So why is it that you are so scared? Because here's the deal: you hold up a piece of electronics and you start pointing at things on it, as if you know what they are. Every single person that understands electronics, they know what they are too. And they know that you're lying, Mark Steele. You self-proclaimed expert. You know nothing. You're absolutely lying about all these things. And I challenge you to debate. And I know you don't want to, because you're going to get exposed as a liar. But I challenge you. You run like a cowardly lion if you need to. Or you face me and I'm going to expose you for lying. There you go. So I'm going to clip that out. I'm going to put that little challenge there to the coward Mark Steele separate. I'll have that on my channel hopefully later tonight, because YouTube will have to render that and then I'll download it. So there you go. Any predictions for how the world will end when 6G comes, MC Toon? I don't know. That's a good one. What will happen when 6G comes? How will it end the world? It will probably be higher frequencies, because they think that higher frequencies is better. So Yeah, so Mohammed Shafiq and Mr. Bozohead, thank you very much for you two especially. There's a few other people on YouTube and around that are particularly poking at Mark Steele, so I appreciate them. If you guys have not subscribed to either Mr. Bozohead or Mohammed Shafiq, I highly recommend it. So what I'm going to do, you two, I'm going to make both of you moderators right now. Post your channel right in here. As you're a moderator, you can post links, both of you, and I highly recommend that you subscribe to both of them, right? Because some good stuff. Calling Mark Steele out because he needs to be, because he's I don't know why he's doing it. I'm not going to say why, right? Some people say he's scamming people, whatever. I don't know, but he's lying and he's getting money from his lies because he's trying to get people into his Save Us Now organization. Save Us Now sounds like a religious thing. And he's got this lion for his new YouTube channel. It's The Lion Roars, with the little crown on the lion, as if it's like Narnia Aslan, like he's trying to be some sort of a messiah figure. He's trying to save people, save us now, and it's S-U-N, son. Yes, more allusions to these things, and he tends to get kind of religious about this. Mark Steele, what does the Bible say about lying? You should check that out there, Mark Steele, because you're lying and you know it. So, Cassin Morrill wants to debate over whether or not 5G towers cause erections. You know, I'm going to leave that between you and a professional. If you need some assistance and some recommendations for professionals, I guess I can help you out if you can't find any. So, Ilya Moon, sit down with Debunker, stands with UMC2, and we'll call him out. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. There's a real debate to be had about 5G. Absolutely. About any RF, about all these things. What's correct power levels? I don't know. That's not my actual debate about 5G. I mean, I'm in that a little. I'm in there. But it's these other two things. It's an intentional weapon to kill people. And it's mind control, and it's causing viruses. No, it's not. All of this is nonsense. So, are you saying the stream froze? Somebody says the stream froze. Ranger Man. So, all right, Mohammed Shafiq put his channel link in there. Go ahead and do that. And there's Mr. Bozohead. Thank you. Go sub to both of them. I would very much appreciate to see everybody in here commenting on their videos. They're great. So, if 5G lasts for more than 4 hours, should I contact your doctor? You definitely should. I can't imagine a 5G lasting for more than 4 hours. That would be crazy. So, there we go. All right, that is what I have. It's coming up on 2 hours, so thank you very much. I do have, from Ben Smith says, hope you don't have a negative opinion of British people. Yes, we have crazy people, and I feel ashamed to stoop so low to use accusations like nonce, etc. All rubbish. How is Flat Earth Fokker debate? Okay, Flat Earth Fokker debate is in the works. Looking for maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks from tonight. I'm going to be going on vacation. I'd like to have a debate while on vacation, so I'll see if we can make that happen. Going to South Dakota. I'll see if maybe I know somebody out there. So as far as a negative opinion of British people, absolutely not. I have been an Anglophile for a long time. If you don't know what that means, I love British things. Since I was a kid, I loved Doctor Who, Fourth Doctor. My favorite band until I discovered metal was Genesis. I still love Genesis and Phil Collins. My kids know when we're out in public, if we hear a song with Phil Collins singing, and if they say, is that Phil Collins or is that Genesis? The first one of my kids to say that gets $1. So my kids sometimes fight to be the first one to say that to me. I've been to England once, and it was awesome. I loved the trip. I was expecting to see Phil Collins just walking down the street. That didn't happen. Turns out he lives in Switzerland. Went to the British War Museum, went to the place next to the House of Commons. My goodness. Saw Big Ben. Westminster Abbey. Toured that. That was awesome. Went there. Loved it. Stayed in, here's the weird thing, stayed in Feltham. I don't know what's a good city. It was a work trip, but I had a lot of not work things to do, so we were there for over a week, and I only had one meeting. So I love England and all of the UK. So don't worry about that. One of my favorite things about doing what I do and debating people is that there's a lot of people from England and Britain in general. And I like the accent. It's been, even though they're flat earthers, I can enjoy the difference in accent while talking to them about insane ideas. So what if it was old Genesis with Peter Gabriel singing, "You owe me $1"? No. 50 cents. Yes. In fact, there was a time, since what I'll sometimes do is I'll get it out. I'll hear it and I'll have it in my hand. I'll have the dollar in my hand. And I heard a Peter Gabriel song and it sounded enough like Phil Collins. I'm like, yeah, they might get it. So I had 2 quarters in my hand and they never called it. So I don't like old Genesis with Peter Gabriel as much. Wind and Wuthering and Selling England by the Pound and their very first album in the beginning. I owned that when I was in high school. So okay, I'm getting a lot of debate challenges. Debate if England is real. If Bob Ross is actually dead. Mr. Bozohead is saying, don't forget about Scotland. Exactly. If it's not Scottish, it's crap. Old Saturday Night Live sketch. What about the Smiths? I love the music. I love it. All right, so I have one tattoo. It's a punk band. I like British punk. So, all right. If I could, my favorite TV show is the IT Crowd. Have I said enough? We've watched every single episode of the Great British Bake Off. It's the wrong name, but twice. That's about all the TV we watch is cooking shows, and if they're British, even better. So, anyway, there you go. What about if a song came on by Genesis that has no lyrics like The Brazilian? I've never heard The Brazilian on radio. So, and if they got that, I'd give them $10. How about that? You should try debating someone from Birmingham or Liverpool. That would take some time. You saying, huh? Yeah. True. Yep. Mr. Unite for the Children says, I'm a UK nerd. I said I was an Anglophile. So, there you go. All right. That's what I have. In 2 hours, I'll be on maybe with a flurf if somebody wants to step up. Keith, if you're a real flurf, send me an email, mctoon@mctoon.net. Otherwise, I'll see about a couple people. We're going to do something. We're going to do something fun. We'll maybe review some other video, do something interesting. So, Scottish comedy. Okay. Oh, I forgot. Black books. Love black books. Have You Been Served? I've watched those. Fawlty Towers, of course. Monty Python, absolutely. So, I should debate on whether or not Jessica G is also Craven Mordick. I don't. So, Clive Wells. And Clive Wells' videos, he does like math derivations. I've listened to several of them. I'm in the garage, I'm working, and I'm listening to a math derivation and not watching. Doesn't really work so well, but I love listening to Clive's accent. So there you go. That's all I need. So, all right. That's all I have for right now. We'll see you again in 2 hours. Thank you very much for everybody super chatting. I appreciate that. Thank you very much to my new members and all of my members and channel and patrons. Thank you very much. If you thought this was great, give it a thumbs up. If you thought it sucked, give it a thumbs down. If you want to say something, put it in the chat. If you think that what's his name? Hibbeler Hibbeler is full of crap. Say he's full of crap in the video, the comments there. So, let's get this outro video there. So there you go. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll catch you later.